What's up guys, it's Lady Callista. Today we are doing another Mobile Royale video, part of the series around What's That, where I'm going to cover things that don't exist in Lords Mobile or pretty much in any other game that I've played. So felt like I wanted to do kind of these quick standalone videos so you guys could take a look, figure out how it works. So by way of introduction, I am in Kingdom 4. I am in the alliance called DART, Rough Riders, and I will say this. If you're interested in joining the alliance, you do have to contact our recruiters. However, in order to get in, you do need to be quite high might. I think by the time I post this video, you probably need to be somewhere in the 6 to 7 million might, which is quite high. So this is definitely a pretty intense alliance, lots of fighting. We are constantly being attacked. We are #1 in might and kills as of this video, but it's pretty wild. So I would say, if you want to join, awesome, but you're gonna have to work really hard to keep up. It is definitely very competitive. Now, this is kind of the hive that we have, and what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is something called the Floatress, the floating fortress, basically. And it is the first that I've seen in Lords and in Mobile Royale, first alliance building. So for once, unlike in other games, there's always a lot of alliance buildings. Now there's an alliance building here as well. So your Floatress is basically going to do one of two things. You can either use it as a training facility or you can use it as a craft studio. And yes, you can use it as both things at the same time. Right now we have the opportunity to run 2 training facilities and 1 craft studio. So first let's talk about training facility. What does that mean? What does it do? So each training facility can hold up to 35 participants. And the purpose of this is it gives you the opportunity to mass train troops with a speed increase, because it really depends on your field marshals. So those are basically the players that can provide the highest level of training efficiency, and I'm going to tell you guys how to do that in just a little bit. And the number of people that you have participating in your training grounds. We have found that if you only have 8 people, you might only get a speed increase of 25%. But if you have a pretty full one, it's usually a lot easier to be able to get a speed increase of 75%, which honestly, guys, this is huge because training troops in Mobile Royale takes an incredibly long time. Okay, so when you click that you want to train, it gives you 6 options. Troopers, militia, and rookies. Troopers from ERT3, that's the only thing that I'm training. And in order to be able to train the troops, it's going to ask you for specific resources. Those resources you're able to get through the craft studio or by basically trading. And there is going to be a trading video that I'm going to make. Now, those 6 options are going to reset every single day at your reset time. That's a big question that people have, and I just showed you guys how to check your reset time. Basically, go to your settings, and you're in your upper right hand corner, you're going to see your reset time. For me, it's 10 a.m. And every single training in general, you can do this 3 times a day basically meaning that when the reset happens, your chances refresh. So you'll have 3 out of 3 chances once you have your reset, and those things will, as you're using them 3 times, you basically are kind of like, you run out of choices, or chances rather. Another thing that's important to mention is in order to open a training facility or open a craft studio, only R4s can do that. So very, very important. Now, I mentioned that I will talk about this in a little bit, but one of the things that we had in terms of a question was, how do you increase your training capacity, right? Well, it turns out that certain heroes, when you improve them, have that as a passive skill. Here you can see Branner has it as a passive skill. I have Branner at purple, so he provides a 2.5%. However, if I were to get him to gold, that percent is going to increase. Now, the reason that's so cool is that passive skill is going to impact every single person that is in the training ground with me. So it's one of those things where you are as good as your cumulative alliance is together, because it stacks. Another hero that has that option is Valenia, and she has the same thing. Right now I only have her green, so I only get a 1% boost, but again, all cumulative. So you want to make sure your people in your alliance are basically focusing on these heroes, but also remembering that you want to have a lot of people in your training ground when you can, because it is going to all help it move much faster, as opposed to being stuck there for a longer time than you want. Now, what I'm doing is kind of going through the rest of the heroes to just quickly check and show you guys what the passive skills look like. And you can see the passive skills vary quite a bit. There are also heroes here that are going to impact, and I'm doing this now, that are going to impact the production of your craft studio. So bada boom is one of them. You would think I could say that better given that I'm from New York. Bada boom. So he actually has a craft studio boost. So I have not focused on him at all. You can see I have him white. I definitely need to work on him. He's going to help craft studios move a lot quicker. And what I have noticed is our craft studio probably is so much slower than our training, because I think a lot of people just aren't naturally focusing on this. Hawthorne is the other hero. So right now, as the game stands right now, there are 2 heroes for training increases and 2 heroes for craft studio increases. And the increase will rely on your hero's grade. So basically the color. Is it going to be white, green, blue, purple, gold? Okay, so that's kind of a rule of thumb. Now let's talk about the craft studio. Same concept. I'm showing you here, I am an R4 in Dart, so I can show you guys, you can create a craft studio where you're accepting guildmates for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for an hour, or for 4 hours. We, as a rule of thumb, always put 1 hour. The reason for this, the folks that are in your hive can always join very easily, but we are not always going to be hived together. And you guys know my stance on hives. I will update that stance for this game. I just want to give it a little bit more of a shot. But I think in an ideal scenario, you're not hived on top of the rest of your guildmates, but you're hived a little ways away. Because the reason for that is, especially now that I'm in an alliance that we're constantly being attacked, we're constantly fighting, and relocators are so expensive. You want to make it expensive for them to find you. So not hiving closely together is in your best interest and giving them really long march times. So that's basically why we tend to select an hour, because we do have quite a few folks that are close-ish to the hive, let's say like a 15-minute walk, and this gives them enough time. So basically this is going to be the amount of time that you're allowing your guildies to get to the training grounds or to the craft studio. Now, I mentioned this before, but it's important to note, only R4s can really open these things up. Like, it is a special level of permission that you need to give specific guildmates. So you want to make sure that you have enough R4s that are going to be online to continuously keep this open. Your people are going to want to use this, right? It's awesome, honestly. And another thing that I've been thinking about is, it's in the best interest of the alliance for R4s to not go into each other's training studios or craft studios, sorry, training grounds or craft studios. And the reason for that is, we also are limited to 3 chances for training and 3 chances for crafting. So what that says is, if another R4 opens up a training grounds and I join that, that's 1 less chance that I have to open it up for the rest of the group. And kind of keeping that group mentality in mind, you want to make sure that you are giving your folks ample opportunity throughout the day to join these. Wanted to show you guys what the craft studio looks like. So you can see there, I already completed my 3 chances. It's basically an opportunity to get higher level materials, and you're basically trading your basic resources like wood, stone, food, those kind of things, and you're trading them for higher level resources. Now those kinds of materials, let's call them materials, those materials that you can use are things that you're going to be leveraging for a higher level diplomacy, right? If you watch the diplomacy and tech video, it would explain it there. And also sometimes this is what you can use, those materials you can use to create additional troops. But as you can see, I also only get 3 chances. So as an R4, you have to be pretty smart about when you want to put these on, and you want to avoid joining other R4s, studios, or grounds. I try to my best of my ability, because I know my folks want to get in there, and I feel absolutely horrible if I don't have any enough chances, right? So that's something to keep in mind for you guys that are R4s. Do the right thing for your alliance, right? It totally helps. Try to focus on the heroes that are going to help the studio and the training grounds. In general, everyone gets kind of that benefit. And then the last thing I'll mention is, there is a button that says Research Guild Tech to unlock more facility slots. Now, we've unlocked whatever is possible. There is nothing left to do, and this was from like the first days of the alliance. So this is like the basic, you know, you just started your alliance, this is what you can do, is what I'm showing you guys. But you know, note to self, I think IGG is working on additional stuff, and there probably is going to be guild tech. Like, they're basically telling us there's going to be guild tech, and today there isn't. That's something that is super prevalent in other games. I've always been very surprised that we've never had the opportunity to do research at an alliance level, but what that tells me is it's coming. So we should be ready. I love that stuff because it's an opportunity for the alliance to all work together. Everyone kind of chips in to get that resource done. But as of now, it does not exist. Now, the last thing I want to mention is around villages. Villages is another new thing of Mobile Royale. I will do a video on it. I'm trying to just wrap my head around it myself and get some of the questions that I have answered. But there are going to be villages that do provide boosts from a craft studio perspective. I don't think I've seen a trading grounds village. Not that it won't pop up, right? So again, the game is still pretty new. We're like a month in, guys. We're not like, it hasn't been around for 6 months or a year. So things are constantly changing. There's a lot of updates, a lot of maintenance. Sometimes it will glitch. So I do anticipate things coming up that will be new. I'm just kind of showing you the different villages there. I was trying to find a particular craft boost village, but the villages do get updated. I think it's every 8 hours or so. And there's different kinds. There's like hunting ones and production for stone. Then like they'll switch out for production for wood. So it varies, but there is for sure one for the craft studio because I remember seeing that, and I don't think they removed it. So, you know, that's another thing. You can make sure you get a couple of those villages before you join the craft studio so you can get some additional boosts. But that's the Floatress, guys. I actually think this is super cool, right? The opportunity to be able to, as a unit, use your boost to train your troops together and get additional T3. T3 takes really long. As you get your barracks bigger and bigger, you know, it's easy for when you first unlock T3 to have like a 24-hour a batch speed, right? That's a really long time. But here, if it's 75% faster, it's a huge improvement. And I think the reason that IGG did that is they're trying to avoid millions and millions and being so easy to have so many millions of troops. Here you obviously can, but it just takes a lot. It just feels like it takes a lot longer to create them, right? And you have to decide between, very similar to Lords, between hospital capacity and barrack training speed and switching that in your technology. And are you fighting? Are you going to be shielded? You know, asking yourself some of those very interesting questions that only you can answer. I can't answer that for you. It really depends on your particular situation. Showing you guys here kind of my setup, my gear, where I am at the moment. I've been playing for like a week and a half or so, maybe 10 days, something like that. I'm having a blast. I love this game. I think it's really fun. I'm at 11.6 million might, 2 million kills. Fort Wars are going to be coming up soon. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below. And as usual, thank you so much for watching.